Okay, this video is, I think I'll put this right at the beginning of all my other videos. This is about data types, but to be more specific, exactly what a string is. And I mean, that's the real story of this video. So I'll just watch my mouse. It represents text as a series of Unicode characters. Now remember, we're setting a data type here to our variable. Okay, even though that says Unicode characters, that says double, floating point. That says integer, double, integer, string, string. That's an override because we're going to string, to string. So what a string is computers work in ones and twos, on or off. So a string is a way to show any kind of characters. It's not going to do any math functions per se. It might add, but I think that's built into Visual Basic because the character can't add by itself. So the reason I use toString or asString is to save on memory. Memory is 16-bit, which means there's 16 slots it can fit into. You'd have to look it up further than that. So I'm going to run this, and again, I want you to remember this. These are toString, and these are not. And the same equations. But what I'm trying to point out to you is in my opinion, you don't really need to write asString in a small program that everybody's doing on YouTube. If you're in a bigger, like a corporation or something that's going to use millions of numbers, yeah, toString is to lower the memory usage and to make it run faster. But to have to write this over and over, you basically could get rid of this operator and this, get rid of this operator and this. Okay, here we go. So we're just going to see what the results are when you have asString. Okay, 5 decimals, about 12 decimals, about 5, 12 again. We just ran it over. So now we're going to change this to single. This is another data type. This is saying, computer, we want to get into floating point numbers, which means with fractions, but we want to limit the number of fractions. So let's highlight it. I like to do this. Sometimes it gives you information. Let's save it. Okay, it represents a single floating point number. It's still showing that as a double. Hasn't run yet. Override, integer, override, double, single, integer. So it's kind of mixed up. It doesn't know what to do. But it doesn't matter because it's about memory usage. It's not sure if it's used 16-bit, 32-bit, or 64. Let's run it and see what happens. Remember the decimals we had before. One was like 5, one was like 12. Okay, now we're down to 4, 6, 4, 6. So you see what single did is it did give us a decimal, which a string did also. The string did a representation. The program did the math equation, but it changed it into characters. Characters means it did the numbers, but then it dropped the function and it outputted it in a string, which is less memory. And in case you don't know what a string is basically this is all a string right now. It's not running. I mean, there's other terms in here. There's functions, and again, it's good to run. Just put your mouse over these things. You can see that's a class. They call that a function. So let's run it. I guess. Now let's go double. Let's go integer. I should have ran that first. Okay, an integer is another data type that people use all the time. Remember, Visual Basic, in my opinion, is defaulted at 64-bit, which means that it also means it's a floating point, and we saw that it has at least 12 to 14 decimal points. So let's see what this says. Save. Okay, it's 32-bit. This is still showing as a double. It hasn't run yet. That wants to shorten the memory, integer, double, integer, integer, integer. So integer, it will round numbers off. We won't have any fractions. I might have said something wrong a second ago, but that's what it does. So here we go. Round it off, round it off, round it off, round it off. So again, I'm just pointing out that this is really about ToString. Okay, so let's go double. So far, ToString hasn't made any difference in the outcome of the way the numbers are outputted. It's just saving on memory. Now we're going to put double in, but it's going to end up being the same as it was ToString. Five, 12, 14, 5, 12, 14. Again, it depends on the number. Some numbers, let's run it one more time. Some numbers round themselves off. This ended at 2, 2. Once it starts repeating, that's not repeating, that is repeating. That's not repeating. So we went over ToString, integer, single, double. The data types really ramp down Visual Basic to smaller decimal points. Now we don't need all these decimal. I mean, who needs all the decimal points? So the point of this video is if you've been wondering why do we keep typing in ToString over and over and we're calling it as string at the top, it's to save on memory. And it's not good to declare as double then ToString. I mean, then you're making it do two functions, even though it appears that it's already doing it. But if you go single, I mean, it's going to go from thinking it's double to changing it to single, then to changing it back to string, which does take time. But again, as I said, I bet if you watch all the videos on YouTube, there's not going to be one big enough where ToString matters. So let's just end this with, I'll just get rid of this ToString just to prove it. Let's get rid of it all of them. Get rid of that operator, or actually this, we know what it is. We already read it. So it's going to go back to acting as a double. That's the only difference. Save it. Round it off at 5. About 12. Ended at 1. 5. 1. So I just wanted to show you that you don't have to put a data type unless you want to not show floating point data, which is basically how a calculator works. It works to the powers. It moves the decimal point, or it moves the numbers to the right of the decimal point, depending if you use percentages and so on. So I think I covered it all. Just to make sure, one more time, to sum this up. The computer, in my opinion, appears to be, and I can't find any documentation on this, but seems to work math always in 64-bit of memories. So basically, it's 3 times the amount of memory as a string. A single and an integer is 32-bit, so that's half the speed of a double, or half the amount of memory as a double, and double the amount of bits for a string. So we know that if you display, this is a string of text, a literal string of text in between these brackets, we do not have to declare ToString to be able to read that. The computer knows that because of the double quotes. So this is automatically going to be 16-bit. So let's, I don't know how many bits this is, but this is 16-bit, 16-bit. I don't know what that is. I mean, this is 64-bit, 64-bit, 16-bit, 64-bit. I don't know that you really pick up any speed, And like I said, why do this? Why put in ToString? That's my opinion, my take. That's the end of the video. So I'm going to call this, do you really need to write ToString, or something like that.